Hello and Happy New Year to you. My name is Tabs and welcome to episode 66 of the Grove Podcast. I hope you're all doing well and you enjoyed the festive season and that you're all ready and raring to go for 2025, just like our favourite footballers in Arsenal Football Club. So, unfortunately, Ian is still unable to record. He's just life and health and stuff like that. So, unfortunately, get well soon, Ian. But his misfortune is your fortune, listeners, making a long-awaited return, or so he tells me, to the pod. But in a change of position, sitting in my usual seat. So I'm expecting big things, expecting good things, and expecting deep analysis and insights and all the rest of it. Is Moz. Happy New Year, Moz. How are you? Any New Year's resolutions?
Hello, Happy New Year, Tabs. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and New Year and a festive break, and listeners as well. It feels good to be sat on the other side for once. I'll keep this seat nice and warm. I won't fart in your seat anyway, for sure.
Please don't.
It is good to be back.
But to be honest, after Christmas and all I've been eating, I'm doing enough for both of us at the moment.
Too much information, Tabs. Too much information. But no, it's good to be here. And you mentioned, you're saying I need to be just like you and positive. So I will. Don't worry, I will.
Talk shit and pretend he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. And in terms of New Year's resolutions, I've actually got quite a few. I won't get into them, but I've set up different sections this year for personal development, career development, health, finances, everything. And so far, we're 2 days in, and they've all gone to pot. So
same old.
Yeah, but no, it's really good, really good to be here. Thank you for the invite.
No worries. The invite is your podcast as much as mine, so there's no invite needed. You just need to be available, which is a tricky thing at the moment. But there we go. Anyway, I don't think people are tuned in for this. So look, in today's show, part one, we'll go over last night's. Great start to 2025 with our 3-1 away win against Brentford. And then in part two, we'll look at another tricky away fixture where we play Brighton on Saturday evening. So there we go. So as we always do, and with the pod, we'll start off with our highlights and lowlights of last night's games. So Moz, I'll let you kick off, seeing as you're back with us. What was your highlight and lowlight from last night's game?
Can I just say some things never change? Ipswich away review on the notes.
Yeah. So I'm typing it now. Right, B. There we go. Anyway,
thank you.
Right.
A highlight was the first 15 minutes of the game. We dominated, and we've done that so many times. I think one of my friends, Ben, was saying it was just like Fulham. That kind of vibe where we just dominate, and that was a good highlight because it shows that we weren't rusty from potential fixture congestion in the past and what we've got coming up. We play some amount of games in January, by the way, which I'm sure we'll talk about. So my highlight was just how we played in the absence of Saka and Rice, two of arguably our best players this season and our best players in the squad in general. I was really, really impressed. And I was just impressed with individual performances. Thomas Partey, I feel like, had a very good game again. There's fitness issues that always get raised about Thomas Partey. Yet Declan Rice is the one that can't play against Brentford from the start because he's the one that's unfit. So it's a testament to what Thomas Partey, whatever he's had over summer and whatever he's done, it's a testament to him. In terms of the low light was the manner in which we're conceding these silly goals. You think about some goals that we've conceded this season, and 9 times out of 10 we've managed to come away and still win the game. But we should not be conceding that type of goal at the near post. Calafiori, I think he's still learning the league, and he was unlucky, I would say, against Mbuemo. But I don't know what else David Raya could have done apart from maybe move closer to his near post. But we should not have even let that shot happen. And then there was also the other low light, I guess, was when Raya almost palmed it into his net, almost like
Heart Attack Central.
Yeah, Karius in the Champions League final against Real Madrid, and we go up the other end and score, to make it 1-1, and it could have been a very different game. So for me, it was more positive than negative yesterday. I think we started off the year very, very well.
No, indeed, and you've touched on a lot of points that I think we'll come to in various sections. Around Calafiori, around the goal, and around how we've played and stuff like that. So no, really good stuff. So for me, in terms of my highlight, I was fortunate enough to go to the game. I think, as I said before, I'm a member at Brentford, so I managed to get a ticket, and I got one as close to the Arsenal fans as possible. But there were quite a few Arsenal fans dotted around. I think it's a relatively easy stadium to get tickets for, and in London, and it's easy to get to. So going there, and I managed to visit my folks before the game who live nearby, and I met up with my mate Tom, who kindly sent us a message for the preview pod. So yeah, it was just nice to be there, and the Arsenal fans were an amazing voice, and it was really nice to be part of them. So I had my scarf wrapped around my mouth, and I was sort of like humming and singing quietly to myself to the song. So it was good to be there. But in contrast, the low light was having to pretend to be pleased when Brentford scored, standing up, gentle, like, "Oh, well done, Embremo, well done," And I tried to scout to see if there's any other people, and I sort of gave a few people the eyes, and I got a few eyes back, and they must have been Arsenal fans, sort of thing. So that was my low light.
You could have got away with wearing like an Arsenal scarf, like a red and white.
I could have done, but I went full incognito. So apart from my socks. But I managed to just get away with that. So those are my highlights and my lowlights. But it was nice to go along and to see it. I didn't think I would enjoy it because I've been before, and you just can't interact with the game. I'm literally sitting on my hands with my mouth covered. You just can't. So even when we scored, nothing. It was like nothing. It was a very bizarre experience going and watching your team score and win, and you're in the away end. But actually, at the end of the game, I managed to stand near the Arsenal fans and saw the team come over, and I was able to applaud them and stuff like that because the stadium was empty, as we do. So it was quite nice. And actually, the steward I was standing next to gave a cheer when the final whistle went, and there was a couple of other Arsenal fans near me. So it's not one of those places. Not like if you had to go Chelsea away or Tottenham away where you'd fear for your life. This was like, yeah. It was all good.
Apparently, I've seen online that the Brentford Stadium is very similar to Fulham, where you were sat. There was like a mixed zone, so you could go out into the concourse and go into the away end. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, there isn't. It's still blocked off. There isn't a mixed zone. No, they block. I mean, it's friendly, but not that friendly.
Okay, but in Fulham, there is like a proper mixed zone where you can actually go into the away. And however, I think stewards check the ticket just to make sure that you're not piling into the away end.
Yeah, but anyway, so it was all good. So, in terms of the lineup, Raya at the back, in goal, Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, Calafiori, then Partey, Odegaard, Merino, and Waneri, Jesus, and Martinelli. So, what were your thoughts on the lineup? And were you did you hear about all the our own dodgy tummy? Maybe dodgy leftovers from Christmas, from New Year, maybe a few drinks. So there was a bit of a bug going around in the team. Did you hear about that? And what did you think about the lineup?
Yeah, it kind of made me chuckle a wee bit because I was thinking we play quite late compared to other teams. So I think Arteta must have given the players a day off here and there. And I think Tommy Ash is still stuck in Japan going by social media. So it was quite funny because you think, what have the players been up to? But when that sort of stuff gets leaked so early on in the day, it kind of annoys me a little bit because if there's an Arsenal fan that's doing it as well, just keep quiet. Don't post it for the other team to see. You don't give away your secrets. But to be honest with you, it was a stronger lineup than I expected from the players that we heard were potentially unwell. And I think the biggest surprise was seeing Ethan Waneri on the wing. I'm sure we'll talk about it. In fact, you've got notes about Jason Cunty.
Jason Cunty. Sorry, is it Cunty or Cundy? I never remember.
The former, not the latter. He was moaning about Ethan Waneri a couple of years ago, and in fact, against Brentford when he came on and was the youngest player for Arsenal or to play. So it was a tough game for him. But apart from that, I think everyone else did pretty well. I just love Jurriën Timber so much. Actually, Martin Odegaard always has a special place in my heart, but now he's got a baby. I need to kind of rein it in with him a little bit. I think my chance with him's gone. But Jurriën Timber, just unbelievable. Honestly, just so good. He had a tough game against Keane Lewis Potter, who I was needing to get a yellow card for 420 quid. But he had a very tough game against him. But he did very well, and I think in terms of the lineup itself, it was probably as expected. It'll be interesting to see how we play going forward against other teams like the likes of Man U in the FA Cup and Man City in the league. It'll be interesting without Saka what we do. But I think
Yeah.
this was a test almost from Arteta, and a test which the squad passed.
No, I was, well, as you said, I think we didn't know what was going to turn up, and there was no Havertz, so he was properly ill. Maybe Rice was still feeling some effects. Even you don't even know from the starting 11 who was right and who was wrong, sort of thing. But I did really like Nwaneri, so that was his first Premiership start. I think. And this also ties into why Calafiori. I think Calafiori was due to start, but I don't think he was going to start MLS and Nwaneri in the same team away to Brentford. So, I think it was a good opportunity. I think also MLS has played quite a few games. Calafiori's coming back from injury, so I think it was just the right sort of mix. And Nwaneri, and according to Arteta, he wasn't there because of the illnesses. He said that was a decision we made because I thought he was the best player to play in the position to start the game, and because there was a story there with his debut here that we just mentioned, he made it, and so on. So I think I think we should give him credit, and I think he played really well. You could see some of his decision making still needs to improve, and you could see he was starting to fatigue in certain parts, and so he needs to build on his stamina. So this is what happens with 17-year-olds in further forward positions that are asked to go backwards and forwards. They've got the skills, they've got the ability, and he showed some great ability, and I think he was involved in all the goals in one way or another. But yeah, some of his decision making and his stamina just needs to improve. But he's 17. We forget he's 17 years old, and so on. So
what he's really good at doing though, Tabs, is carrying the ball and taking it 20, 30 yards up the pitch when we need him to. And that's something that Saka started to do a couple of seasons ago as well, and Martinelli and Trossard can kind of do. But when I was watching Nwaneri do that yesterday, I thought this is what we need. It's maybe 2 on Arsenal. We need to get the ball away from the Arsenal box, and he can just pick it up and run.
Oh yeah, and there was at one time where he did that beautiful flick around the player, and he went the other side. But that was a moment of great piece of skill. And then Odegaard made a run, and I think he just carried it a little bit too forward. And maybe from my angle, the pass looked on. Maybe from his, it didn't. But that's the sort of thing you want, that bit of spark. So look, I'm not saying he's coming in, Saka out, he's in, and he's going to give us everything we want. No, but he's just part of the solution. So if we can get something from him, get something from Martinelli, from Jesus, from Trossard, from Havertz, we can try and find a way to compensate for Saka's loss in the team. And so it's a promising start. Again, Brentford away, they've only lost once at home in the league. They're the top scorers at home in the league. So to go away, dominate how we did, score 3 goals, give up nothing, I think overall impressive performance. So actually, on that note, I mean, overall game, 50% possession, but Brentford had 0.32 XG to our 1.91. They had 5 shots to our 14. We had 2 big chances, 5 on target. So, as we said, a dominant performance. So what was your thought on you sort of alluded to it, we've sort of seen this game before against Everton, against Fulham, where you've got a very low block and they try and play in the break. So what did you think, and what did you like about the actual overall performance and how we managed to find a way?
The first 15 minutes were positive, and then the kind of the following 30 minutes of the first half were quite poor in general from Arsenal. But when you look at how we came out in the second half, it was like Arteta basically, Amazon Prime series, kind of vibes, where he must have went through the players, because we weren't playing in the first half like Arsenal should be playing. There's no, obviously we score, we made it 1-1 at kind of the half an hour mark, but I just think the second half was just so positive, and it kind of didn't, I wouldn't say paper over the cracks of the first half performance, but I think in general, when you look at how we played from minute 1 to minute 90, it did feel like we controlled the game. It felt like we didn't really give Brentford that many chances. There was no real chance of note apart from their goal and the shot I mentioned that David Raya spilled. I don't think they had that many chances. We kept 2 of probably the informed players in the Premier League at the moment, and all fantasy Premier League players will know, in Wissa and Mbeumo. We kept them relatively quiet after Mbeumo's goal. And it shows, I don't know if you've managed to watch the game back or the highlights at all, but when some players were getting subbed, they just looked absolutely knackered. Like, we put a shift in, and I don't know. I've never seen the Brentford pitch. I don't know if it's as big as the Emirates, but it
No,
looked massive on the TV. But I
no.
don't know if that was just because Brentford were stretching the pitch in the first half and playing very, very high up, and
Yeah.
we were struggling. So fair play, credit has to go to Gabriel Jesus for he was relentless in his running. Martinelli as well. They were relentless in closing down the Brentford defence, and it was a tough one because Brentford away is not an easy game. That's a game on paper where you think that could be a banana skin. Whereas when you look at the game against Everton, you think, right, we should win that one. So the fact that we did come away with 3 points, I'm happy overall. I'm very positive. I think we've started the year for once. We finished 2024, top of the 2024 league table, if you like. And I think we've started 2025 with just showing, we can be there or thereabouts with Liverpool. All we need them to do is drop, points in a couple of games, and you never know what could happen.
No, exactly. Well, look, we are the best team in 2025 so far. We're at top of all the metrics as 2025 as they stand. So hey, I'm going to take that. So, but no, I like what you said about the Everton game or even the Fulham game. For me, there's so many things about this game. There's a lot I like, but also I think the ball just fell for us in this game. Everton and Fulham, things just didn't fall for us, and in a way, when we're not able to create stuff, so our creativity is still lacking there. We need to find an alternative way to get goals. So we've got the set pieces, but we've got to create a bit of uncertainty, chaos, and today, and then the ball drops, and we've got to create pressure. And the more pressure you create, the more things will go your way. So against Everton, so many times the ball could have fallen to one of our players and we would have got a goal. Yesterday, the ball fell for us and we took our chances. And that in a way is just the way football, the football is. It doesn't always have to be perfect, but we've got to try and mix things up, try and create that pressure, and then more things will hopefully go away. Because without Saka, we aren't going to have that right-sided person, that creativity, that game changer. We don't have those game changers, so we've got to do this as a unit. So Nelly needs to contribute, Jesus needs to contribute, all the front line need to contribute in their own sort of way and try and force the issue and make things happen. We've got to find a different way of playing. I don't think we will be that silky team that we have, that pass and flow, that movement. We need to be more of a team that creates pressure, just create more chances and something will go your way. And it's a bit like the better you are, the luckier you get. So the better we are at the way we play like this, the luckier we will get. And it was a very, very, very un-Arsenal performance in many ways. One, we don't normally come back from going a goal down. I think the last time we did it was Villa in 2023. And then the last time we won from being behind was Luton last season. We don't know how much the illness affected players. Again, midfield changes up front. But actually, take all of that. We actually were very comfortable. It was like at arm's length. One went 3-1, nothing happened. It was like that, the adult with the kid putting their hand on their forehead. They created nothing. So I really like this from lots of different ways because we found a way to win in a different manner. And yeah, Everton and Fulham could have gone that way as well. So it's just sometimes that's football.
Yeah, the ball fell to us for all three of the goals, didn't it? And that's what you need sometimes. You need luck. I'm just looking at your stats here about the goals we've conceded in the last 12 games. The 9 goals we've conceded, none of them are above 0.2 or 0.4 XG, although they're all kind of like 0.0.
It's nuts. We've let in 9 goals from 0.97 XG, so we should have only let in 1 goal, and we've let in 9. And that, but that's football, and the stuff. It's one of the it's a statistics that shows the variance of football and how much we often. It's often the first shot we always get concede, and like the Embremo goal, it's their first shot. I think it's only the second or third shot on target in the whole game. Shit happens, and so we need some of that to go our way, and in the past it hasn't. So against Fulham and Everton it hadn't. Yesterday it went our way.
And Julian Timber was booked in the first half as well, quite early on in the first half, and he misses obviously the game against Brighton. So it'll be interesting to see what we do there because our right side, is pretty much.
Well, it'll be Partey, won't it?
Against Brighton, it will be unless he, Well, there's no other way.
But he did well again, getting booking early. The way he plays, he's very front-footed, very aggressive player. I always just get nervous him getting booking early. Is like the second one is coming, and it's happened a few times, but he manages to control himself and he does all right. I think you've touched on the first half. It was very contrasting. Lots of possession, didn't really create much. We gave away that goal for Brentford. And let's go through the moments. I mean, there weren't many actually throughout the whole game. There weren't many moments, but Odegaard had a shot from distance on 10 minutes. But in 13 was the Embremo goal. I think it was Odegaard's pass was intercepted. Damsgaard then ran through, passed it to Embremo, and he did well. But you're right. I think you called out Calafiori. I think Calafiori could have got closer, but it went through his legs. What can you do? And then
that's 2 goals that I feel like Calafiori has not been at fault. I think being at fault is quite a serious accusation.
Yeah,
but
he's not handed to it. He's not handed it to him on a plate, but he could have defended better.
That's 2 goals this season that I feel like, and I'm trying to think of the first, but I can't.
It was West Ham. I think it was the West Ham one when it was a very similar thought, I think, and actually very similar goal. With Wan-Bissaka near post. Cut inside.
That's the one. But look, we've got a player in our hands with Calafiori, so I don't mind if he lets in the odd goal like that as long as we win the game. I think the most important thing was just, if you think about the second half, the most important thing was how quickly we came out the blocks and how quickly we scored the 2 goals. I think it was within the first 5 minutes we scored the first goal, and then 5 minutes after that we scored again. And my apologies have to go out to the Grove chat because I was so far ahead. In fact, I think someone asked me, how are you even ahead of Opta? And I don't know. It's just, if you're watching BT or TNT Sports on a BT box, it seems to be like you're in the stadium. I must have celebrated some of the goals.
I was getting the goal notifications before I got them from you, so I didn't even know what was happening. We're going to score. Great.
You should have put a bet on when I text you.
But just back to the first goal, and also Raya, I think you mentioned, could have done near post. I think Embremo's normal modus operandi is to go far post curler. So I think it's one of the ones you cover your far post near. It literally went the space of a ball, but again that's what happened. So I'm not going to put too much on Raya on that.
It was a good finish. It was a good finish.
Lovely finish. And you weren't expecting it. He hit it nicely. Weren't expecting it, and but that's their first break, and this is what they were playing for. They were playing to go in the counter with Wissa and Bremer. They're very fast on the attack, and we seem to be susceptible to it, and it was just the way it was. But and then you had that Raya moment. Jesus, God knows what happened there. And actually, normally, and I saw it again today. Normally, you stand behind the ball, but I think he deflected over his head, so it didn't hit him in the face, and he did well to do it, to claw it off the line. And then from there, 1-1. Bit of pinball on the edge of the box. Then I don't know. Brentford try and clear it. Martinelli tries to do something. Partey has a shot. Fantastic. We have a shot, which is part of the variance thing. We need to be shooting more. Keeper saved it, and Jesus in the right time in the right place. It was actually on replay. Actually, a very smart header. The way he lifted it over the goalkeeper and stuff like that. So that was 1-1. It was nice.
Did you see Gabriel Jesus in the post-match interview? He was like, where's this resurgence of form come from? And he said, someone told me to stay humble, so I've listened and I've tried to work harder.
I did not know that. That's brilliant. I
don't know if I didn't watch the actual interview, but I seen the quotes on X this morning, so I'm hoping that is, there must be a clip of it somewhere.
I don't care if it's not true. I want it to be true. So that's fine.
He says, someone told me to stay humble, so I took their advice and listened, and I've been working even harder.
That would be super. Have you seen the statistic of since the quote? There was even a statistic. I think it was on US TV,
Canadian TV. Yeah.
Oh, Canadian. Yeah, the pre-humble, post-humble metrics for Haaland. It's very good.
He scored obviously on the weekend against.
Wow. Yeah, it's Leicester.
Against Leicester, but I think even I could score against Leicester if you gave me 90 minutes up top.
Exactly, with Wout Vass at the back. I think we've all got a chance. And so, look, I think 1-1, I think with fair reflection, I don't think we deserve to be winning, deserve to be losing. A bit of a nothing game. We were dominant around the box. They played on the break, but neither team creating anything. And the second half, as you said, I think you wanted a bit more urgency, a bit more from our team, a bit more pressure. And look, we had, even though it was funny in the second half, they had more possession, but 0.1 XG, so they really did nothing with that possession with it. And you say you're right, we came out of the blocks firing. 50 minutes, Merino, again, more chaos in the box. And this is, again, Waneri involved. So Waneri, I think, was in and around the box for the first goal. He took the corner. Isn't it great that he's coming in and he's given the responsibility of taking the corners that Saka would take? So it shows that, in the skill stakes, it'd be easy to give it Odegaard, wouldn't it? But no, they're giving it to Waneri. Bounce around the box. Jesus has a shot. Rebounds to Merino, who pokes home from close range. Now, look, he didn't have the greatest of games, but again, right time, right place. Gets the goal, all important. So another set piece FC strikes again.
Merino's a tricky one. He didn't have the best game, but he seems to be coming into it. And he's one that I think will need a full season to bed in, and he needs consistent games. It's tough because obviously we have Partey, Odegaard, Rice, Odegaard, Merino. Partey, Merino, Odegaard. We have so many different variables that we can play in the midfield, but I feel like Merino just needs a run of games in the team. And he'll start again on Saturday against Brighton if Partey plays at as right back.
Of course.
I think we'll probably do Rice, Merino, Odegaard in the middle, and so it's just he needs a run of games. And he might get that now with the cups and the Premier League. Obviously, games are coming thick and fast. He might get a run, and we need to just see more from him. We need to see him almost play like Rice and Odegaard in terms of creativity.
Well, it depends because what he's there for. You're right. Look, I think with him and Calafiori, patience is a bit needed. They've come in. They both had injuries. They've been in and out of the team. No consistency. They've come into a team that has also had other injuries and has adapt. So again, it's not like they're coming into a fully fluent team and they're just an additional component to that. There's so much going on. So I'm prepared to give them benefit of the doubt, give them time. They are great options. They've scored goals. They're part of the team. Still learning, still building. We're still winning with them as they're doing this. So I think it's great. And it also depends on what he wants from Merino. I think Merino, he's going to be an off the ball player. He's built for his physicality. He's a progressor in terms of give and go, and then he's like going to be an extra attacker crashing the box. So I think he's going to be judged on different metrics too. He's not a skillful dribbler. He's not going to be taking people on. He's not going to be that creative person, but he's going to do what Havertz does when he plays the eights, crashes the box, comes in late, provides physicality, provides height. And which he did yesterday. He scored a goal against Liverpool as well. And I think, but you're right, there's a bit of that and there's a bit of growing into the team. And then he just needs to learn the league as well because playing in Spain, he plays like he's in Spain. So he's still a bit slow, expects more time to ball, turning around. He needs to quicker. But that comes. But you're right, I think it comes with a run of games. But good for him. But he always looks like he's going to be thereabouts. He's always a threat from set pieces and he got his reward yesterday. So, I can't judge him too harshly, but he did great. And then 3-1 after 54 minutes. Again, Waneri crossed from the right, Brentford headed it clear, and I love this control. I think on the thigh and volley. I love it. I love that sort of goal.
I think he remembered he was Brazilian for a split second there, didn't he?
And it was right in front of me, and I was like, yes. I was like, that was really good. Through gritted teeth. It was just so nice. It was like I had such a beautiful view of the goal to that goal. So well done Martinelli on that. And I think from that goal he grew in confidence. He was like our biggest threat there afterwards. So so that was really, really nice. And pretty much game over from there. I think there was a couple of other chances there afterwards. It would have been so nice had Reyes' throw to Martinelli just been a bit shorter. It would have been. Flecken reacted well, but you could see the two of them on the bit. You didn't show, but Martinelli was like hitting himself in the head. So that was so close, but that was nice. So in the end, a comfortable 3-1 win. I did feel. I don't know whether so from TV, was there a sense that Brentford did have any chance of coming back? Because in the stadium there wasn't any. I didn't feel it, but you could tell if they did score, you could expect a grandstand finish. So what was it like watching on TV? Did it feel like this is easy?
It was more tension than it was actual chances. So,
right.
Brentford had the ball around the edge of our box and they were passing it left and right. I think what really messed up Brentford was the substitutions. Once the subs came on, I feel like it was game over for them. I think the subs just, for them, could not get into the game. There was Kevin Shada came on, I believe, and I was thinking, he has scored a few goals in the Premier League this season. He's good. He's a good player, but it was just a bit almost I think they made 4 changes at once, and it was too much for them.
Yeah.
I don't think it became really disjointed. And after that, normally, you see in different chats they say, "Oh, if they score again here, we're screwed" or whatever. But there was none of that. I think it was the main thing was they had a lot of the ball, but they didn't really know. There wasn't like a final output to it, so it didn't look anything. It was quite relaxed. Watching it, and I don't think they had any shots at all, did they? Really, there was a couple of crosses that Raya came in.
Raya did well. This is where he did well. He's so good at that, claiming crosses and it's just quietening stuff down when that happens. So
our game management is quite good. Like I think it was 86 minutes on the clock, and Martinelli just, instead of crossing the ball in, trying to make it 3-2, when there's only maybe one attacker in the box and 4 Brentford defenders, he just takes the ball into the corner, slows the game down, lets the Arsenal players have a breather, lets them come up. And I don't know who it was, but someone in the chat says, he should be crossing that in and going for a fourth. But no, there's 86 minutes. We just have to wind the clock down.
Yeah.
Waste time a little bit. It's all about game management in those states, especially when it's been such a taxing game. If we lose possession there, Flick and then throws it out, and we're suddenly
you don't want to give them any hope. And in the stadium, they didn't really have much hope. The crowd weren't really. Again, you just don't want to give them that. Because they've scored goals. They had that crazy game against Ipswich, and they scored 28 goals at home or 26 goals at home, so they can score. You just don't want to give them that hope. And you can imagine a small, tight stadium gets back to 3-2. We're getting nervous. You don't want to do that. So it was nice. So, I mean, what was interesting for me actually in terms of the subs, I was speaking to a couple of Brentford fans afterwards, and they said actually the bigger game for them is Southampton away at the weekend. So it felt like, you know what, we'll take the loss. This isn't the game that we're expected to win. Let's focus. And so they took off some key players to rest them for Southampton. That was their view. And it was a bit like Ipswich. I think Ipswich came to the Emirates thinking, we've just been stuffed by Newcastle. If we come away losing 1-0, that's okay, because our bigger game is Chelsea, and they go and win Chelsea. So they felt there was an element of, all right, we'll accept the loss. We're not getting back into this. Let's rest some key players. As you said, they took them on, brought on some subs which didn't make a difference, and that was that. And in terms of the timekeeping, I couldn't see the scoreboard, so I had no idea what time. And I realised my phone had an Arsenal screensaver and kept them rotating. So I couldn't even take my phone out to check anything or anything like that, because it was too obvious that it was Arsenal. So I was actually watching the game, having no idea what time it was in the game, which was really weird. So not only was it weird not being able to support, it was weird not knowing. I couldn't work out if it was relaxed about it, because I couldn't feel any tension. What is, and it was just a weird sensation watching the game like that.
I think it was quite overall when you think about it, and it's probably one of the first games in a long time that I've watched in full, having not been at the stadium and not out in a pub or something watching it. First game I've watched in the house for a long time, and it was just from start to finish. When you think about it, we played well. Brentford were always a threat to score. They've scored some amount of goals early on this season as well. They were known as the team that scored in the first couple of minutes of, there was it 4 games in a row they scored in the first 100 seconds or something, one of the stats.
So, they had that crazy stat at the beginning, in the first minute and stuff, But
overall, I think it was good. And another, the good thing is we don't leave London for another month.
Again.
So we've not left. I think we've only had 2 games outside of London since the middle of November.
Wow. And
we don't leave London until we go away to, I think, is it Girona at the end of this month, potentially, or maybe start of February.
Okay, well, Greta will be pleased with that. And in talking to London, that's another win against a London team. We've not been defeated since about 2023 against the team in London, which, again, this isn't a big local rivalry, but, a lot of when you're playing the likes of Chelsea and you're playing Tottenham and West Ham, it just adds that extra element in there. So to be London, all of London is red, and even the home counties, so it's not to be sniffed at. And also another ridiculous record: whenever Jesus scores, never loses. So that's, I think,
so the commentators mentioned this, and
in the Premiership.
Yeah, in the Premier League, whenever Gabriel, and it's something, when you wrote it down, 62 games. When the commentators mentioned that, they said that's over 60 games where he scored. The team that he has played for, either Man City or Arsenal, have not lost that game. That's a very impressive stat.
Do we put him on penalties? And make sure he scores.
Well, no, because then he'll end up missing the penalty, and we'll end up losing, and then that'll be even worse.
There is that. So we've sort of quietly gone about going unbeaten. Sorry, Wales. 9 games with 7 wins, 2 draws, scored 21 against 6. So we sort of gone about it quietly. Everyone's been sort of saying, "Oh, we're not doing this, we're not doing that," and so on. I don't think there's big context and all the rest of it. But second in the Premier League, 4 clear of Chelsea, 8 clear of City. I've lost count how many points we're clear of Tottenham and Man United. so we're hanging in there. Our last defeat was Newcastle on the 2nd of November. So that's it's quite nice. Not as nice as we'd like it to be, but it's. We're still hanging in there. We just got to give ourselves the best chance.
I guess that just shows you it's testament. I hate saying this, but it's testament to Liverpool and how well they're playing as well. That we went unbeaten 9 games and we've still not really closed the gap on them. So, but what I would say is it's also testament to the Arsenal squad that. Barely 4 weeks ago, people were talking about, oh, Man City are coming back, Chelsea are, going to finish second. They're, and now we're 4 points clear of Chelsea, 8 points clear of City, like you say, and we look like the only challengers for Liverpool. It'll be really interesting. I think the game against City in February is vital. We do obviously play against Aston Villa as well. In a couple of weeks' time, we play against
Tottenham.
And we play against Spurs. It's funny, I'm not worried about the game against Spurs at all. Like, I'm genuinely not worried. I know it's Tottenham, but they just look so disjointed and so... I mean, they could score 4 goals, but we'll score 20. Kind of thing. So
let's just hope they don't sack their manager. Anjin all the way, please. Anjin.
Yeah, I don't see them sacking him mid-season. No. I really don't. I think who realistically could they go and get? That's a thing. True. So the biggest concern will be to see how we play against Man City at home against against City without Saka will be interesting because we beat them last season.
Without Saka. Saka as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And Saka was the substitute in the second half this season. He came off in the at the Etihad, so he was the sacrificial lamb after Trossard got sent off. Yeah. So we played without them against City. So but City will have spent $500 million on a whole new team by the time we play them. So unfortunately we won't get to play them when they're shit. So
or $500 million on their fine from the 115 charges. So, but no, we have some. You've got them here. We've got some really tough games coming around the corner. Obviously, we've got Brighton away. Then we've got Newcastle at home. The first leg's at home, isn't it? So we've got Newcastle. And we must actually congratulate Normie for winning his second ever ballot. 2 ballots in a row he's won now.
Wow, he's on a roll. He's on a roll.
I think he was almost 49 undefeated with ballots, and now he's managed to win 2. Yeah. And then we play against United, and then it's Tottenham, Villa, both at home, Champions League, Wolves, Champions League. So tough run of games in January.
Yeah, and it's just busy. Hopefully, certain things go our way. It becomes busy. I mean, hopefully that last game against Girona on the 29th is the dead rubber. We beat Zagreb. We're pretty much guaranteed, and so on. But it's just the fact that you're playing every 3 days on the 4th, 7th, 11th, 14th, 18th, 21st, 25th, 29th. It's just tiring looking at that. But especially when you're missing some key players and so on. So let's see. Look,
it's 9 games. It's 9 games in 29 days.
26 days. Yeah, so from the 4th.
Well, sorry, I mean, if you include Brentford as well.
Oh, yeah. So it's just nuts, and no wonder there's injuries, and so we have to get used to rotation, and we cannot be at our fluid best all the time, because when you're playing this much football and all you're doing is play, recover, you're working on the automatons, working on those relationships. It's going to happen in games. So it's going to be a lot about game management. It's going to be a lot about squad management. Win 1-0, move on. Win 1-0, move on. And this is what Arteta's going to, I think, at the moment, is in terms of get control, give away as little as possible, take your chances, move on. And I think we just need to get used to that. It'd be nice if we do have some games where we play beautifully and we play teams off the park. But I think at the end of the day, the result that matters, and I think that's what we just got to focus on, and the football, well, that will take care of itself. So there we go. So in terms of the players, so we're just going to go through and do a quick sort of player by player rating of the first 11. I think the subs were on too late and didn't really do much to warrant anything. So I'll kick off. So Raya, I gave him 6.5. I said I marked him down for a couple of misplaced passes, that heart attack moment, maybe the goal, but then after that, his distribution got better. His control of the game in the second half. He does that thing where he claims crosses, quiets the crowd down. So I really liked it. So I gave him 6.5. What did you give?
A 6. I gave him a 6. But yeah, just at fault for or contributed to the first goal. Not saving, which was maybe a tough, but the mistake as well. That almost led to. But a 6, I think, is like a standard. It's funny how no one really gets a 3 or a 4 unless they're really, really shit.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think we gave Jesus a 4 for the Fulham game, but he's since proved us wrong. So, Timber, what do you think of Timber's performance?
I gave him a 7. I was going to give him a 7.5, like you have, but I know I was waxing lyrical about him, but it was just because of the yellow card, marked down for the yellow. Yeah,
I gave him 7.5. I think he's just so solid. Very dominant, just pops up everywhere. Look, there's Timber. Oh, look, there's Timber. And he's just got such a face on him of focus and just like, it's like a fuck off face. I'm going to win this game for us. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I hate you. And it's just that, yeah, it's just like I just love his expression. It's just such a no nonsense expression. I just wish he could take a throw in quicker. And yeah, he's just sometimes a bit aggressive in his fouls.
Someone that really annoys me with that is Miles Lewis Skelly. He just takes so long to take throw-ins, and whenever the camera zooms in, he's always got the ball behind his head. He's always looking, and it's like, you're going to get booked. Just take the throw-in.
Yeah, but back in our day, it was always line it, just get 10 yards, line it.
Yeah.
basically just line it. That was it. But I think they're a bit less rudimentary than that. Okay, next up, Gabriel. I gave him a 7. Did Gabriel things. There was a lot of the time he was quite far forward. I was looking at it today. Saliba and Gabriel are literally 10 yards outside the opposition penalty area. How far forward are these guys? And it's nuts how far forward they are. And actually, he's trying to make some progressive passes. He's trying to actually take players away to give space for others. So, it's interesting. Like, you see other teams, not a lot of teams do that. When your centre backs are literally just there 10 yards outside, it's nuts to see. And didn't really offer up any chances, was fine against Wissa and Bremo. So yeah, a 7. What do you give him?
7.5. And that was because of how far forward he was in the first half. He was the one that was like, asking for the ball, making the passes out wide. Yeah. And he was just doing, as you say, doing Gabriel things. Yeah.
And a similar note, Saliba?
Saliba 7, just solid performance. In fact, Cern, if you're listening to this, I need to find out if Saliba made his 2 tackles. Cern had a £10 bet on to return £7. So bring some dinner on him next time we go up to the Horatio. But I wonder if he actually made those 2 tackles. Didn't feel like he had much to do, to be honest.
Let me have a quick look to see if Cern pulled out his. Got his bet coming up. So
I don't know if you can check like Opta stats or something.
I'm on FOTMob. So here we go. Where's Saliba and his stats for the game? Attack, touches, defense, tackles 1. Do you want to guess how many tackles he took part in and how many he won?
I'd say 1 of 7 or 1
0.
of 4.
0 of 0. He made no tackles, and then he won none of them. He made 3 clearances, 2 headed clearances, no interceptions, 3 defensive actually, 11 recoveries. That goes to show how little threat actually Brentford were against him. In contrast, what did Gabriel do? What did Gabriel do? How many tackles did he win? Guess?
3.
No, none. He didn't make it. What are we paying these defenders to do? They're fucking not making a tackle. Jesus God, what a waste of money. These getting defenders and they don't make any tackles. There you go. Let's finish the lot. So Calafiori, he got 2 out of 3, so that's a bit better. And then Timber, he kicked 10 people up in the air. No, he tackles 1 out of 2. Well, the other one must have been the yellow card.
So you would expect the fullback to make more tackles than the centre backs against Brentford, who kind of are a more winger focused team.
But yeah, I'm not happy about it. Yeah, actually, I think it was Partey that actually won the most tackles. Yeah, not happy about our centre backs being lightweights.
I think we should send Saliba out on loan again next season just to make sure he knows how to tackle, right?
Exactly. God, what a waste of space. Right. Okay. Calafiori. I gave him a 5.5. I think looked a bit rusty. May have been ill. As we said, I think he could have done better for the goal, but still bedding in, injuries, getting used to the new league, and he's still only 22. So I'm not going to be too harsh on him, but if you got a base of 6.5, I think mark him down 5.5 just in terms of that. What do you think?
Yeah, I gave him a 5.5 as well. He could have been ill, but we forget, you see he's very young. He's 22 years old. That is so young. To be that handsome at 22, Tab, right? Some of the photos that you see of him and his clobber is just wow. We might not have the best squad at the moment with injuries, but we do have the most good-looking squad, I would say.
Best dressed squad. Yeah. Okay, is there an award for that? I don't know. Ballers, best
Rising
dressed.
Ballers.
What nonsense. Okay, Partey. What did you give for Partey?
I gave Thomas Partey an 8. I would have given him man of the match if Gabriel Jesus didn't get it. I would have said Thomas Partey was my second. He was just, again, fitness comes into question for players like Thomas Partey who have struggled so much in the past. However, he lasted the game and he was just there everywhere. He seems to be a man reborn this season in terms of now that we've lost Granit Xhaka, Thomas Partey is now, I'm not saying he's hit the levels of Granit Xhaka did last season or in fact, no, it was the season before that. God, how fast.
How time flies.
Yeah, wow. Not even last season, but I think this season he's playing more like, how we would expect him to play. So I like that. He's also out of contract in the summer. So
that's fine. I think we use him this year, but he's not the future. I'd be happy. Like let's rinse him dry, and then thank you very much, and then we need to move on. We need to get others in.
There's rumours that he's going to Saudi.
That's fine. I'm not too worried about that. That's fine.
No, it was just who do we replace? Let's not forget Thomas Partey is a central midfielder that can also play right back. And games like on Saturday against Brighton, when we need him to play right back, he can. Yeah. So let's just think about that as well for a second. Who do we have that's a
well? Hopefully Ben White won't be. How quickly we have forgotten Ben White. He was an ever present, such a good player. We're so lucky to have someone like Timber that's come in and made it seamless. But the issue is that you don't have that alternation, don't have that backup, whatever. So that's why Partey's playing there more often. I'd rather he didn't, but he's playing there. Yeah.
Have we forgotten Ben White because at the start of the season he wasn't really Ben White?
Yeah, but that's mostly because of injury and because there's elements. We're not going to forget what he's done for the last few seasons. So I agree. I thought Partey had a dominant game in midfield. I think he stood out of all the midfielders, and that just wasn't his orange boots. He seemed to be everywhere. He actually took a shot that led to the Jesus goal. So I gave him a 7.5. I think he was the best midfielder on the park. Onto your love and mine, Odegaard. I gave him a 6.5. It was a very typical 6.5 for you too. It was a very typical Odegaard game of the current version of Odegaard. Maybe he's still been impacted by having a newborn. People who've had babies, they know that impacts your sleep, impacts your day to day. I know they're professionals, but they're also humans. Actually, I met up with Tom and his father after the game for a drink, and they really liked him, and they said it's just so hard to get the ball off him. So he was really good, and obviously people he would get the ball, pass it, get it, lend it, and so on. So, but should we expect more? Now that Saka, our star boy, isn't there, should we expect him to be stepping up and to be a bit more of that creative spark, to be a bit more of that person that gets you out of your seat?
Yes and no. And I can answer that question.
Yeah.
Because yes and no, because yes, when Odegaard was out, Saka stepped up and did well. However, no, for 3 reasons actually, very quickly. Reason number 1, you've mentioned the newborn. We are forgetting that this is Martin Odegaard's first baby. He will be in the house with his wife Helene, who will be, I'm sure, looking after the baby and doing everything that she can to. But he is also a father, now, and I don't know the feeling yet, but you'll know, Tabs, how tough babies are in their first few months of life. So that, number one. Number two, he is fresh off injury as well. He has just come back from a it was ligaments, wasn't it, in his ankle? So pretty serious injury to come back from, finding his feet. He's come back into a team that is now also finding themselves with other injuries. So he's trying to work out what happens. But also, number three, the other thing is we're playing against good opposition. We're not. You look at Martin Odegaard. There was a moment in the game yesterday where he kind of had the ball, rolled it with the base of his foot, and then flicked it back, and I think it was Martinelli almost got onto the end of it, and Flecken did well to read that. Martin Odegaard will come good again, and not saying he's playing bad, but he will come good. He just needs, again, a run of games to, after his injury. But yes, we need to expect what Saka did when Odegaard was out. We need to expect that from Odegaard as well. Different positions, mind you, but we need that.
But no, but it's just that spark, that's something that gets you out of your seat type stuff. I think it will come. I mean, his presence, we've not lost since he's been back. So
exactly.
So even if he may not be, his numbers may not be up there, sometimes his presence is enough. That he was like a bit of a one-man press yesterday. Just the way he's like, they say he's the manager on the pitch. I think he just needs to fine-tune a bit more end product. A bit more creativity. Just, it seems like he needs a bit more confidence. Have a shot, try something. He tries to be too perfect, and we need to lean on imperfection at the moment because we don't have the right players to be playing that perfect football. So I think he needs to maybe adjust his style to say, hey, have a shot. So maybe that shot he had on 10 minutes was influencing others to maybe then Partey have the shot or whatever. So it's just try and change that mindset and say, okay, we need to be a different team. So that means I need to be a different player and stuff. So he's a great player. Just he's got another level or two to go up at the moment, I guess is what we're saying. Yeah. Merino. Now this is an interesting one. I gave him a 6.5 and still not 100% sure what he offers, but he got an important goal. And as I said, a bit like Calafiori, he's still bedding in, started off injured, he's been in and out of the team. And that happens a lot where it takes time. Like Havertz last year took a while to get going, and then bang, after Christmas, he was firing. And also the number 8 position has been this position for Arsenal, which has always been tricky. It's the most unsettled position. And we don't really know. Well, I think Arteta knows what he wants. But maybe we're expecting an Eze, but instead we're getting a Merino, and Merino is not that. Merino is a box crasher. He's not a ball progressor. He's a continuity player. He's not creative. He's not a dribbler. So maybe he's doing what Arteta wants. Just we don't know that. So I gave him a 6.5. Just wasn't bad, wasn't good, and I'm prepared to give him the benefit of the doubt. You've given him more.
I've given him a 7. He scored. And he wasn't his best performance, but he scored the vital goal of the game, to bring it up to 2-1. So let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's give him the full season to see what he's like. He wasn't the best player or one of the best players in La Liga for no reason. He wasn't outstanding for Spain at the Euros for no reason, so there is a player in there somewhere. It's just that he needs to get those Newcastle genes out of him fully before being a Celtic legend.
Yeah, and it's maybe I'm thinking
Celtic legend. Sorry,
an Arsenal legend. I don't know. You got the Glasgow derby on your mind. I think maybe in the Champions League is maybe where we'll see him more shine, or I think maybe those are the games where we'll see him, because again, Champions League is a bit more like playing in La Liga and stuff like that. So it's less physical. You have a bit more time, so maybe that's where he will shine. But I think he's hopefully he'll have a strong second half to the season. Okay, next up, Nwaneri.
7 again. Just didn't do anything of note. Did have those what you call second assists and third assists in the MLS. I know you count them, but he was involved with all 3 of our goals, and he just. Again, another player who needs a run of games in the team to really show what he can do. I think also in the back of his mind, he's seen MLS just come into the team, and he's become a fan's favourite so quick. Not saying that Ethan Nwaneri is not a fan's favourite, but Lewis Skelly has been spoken about as in the timber, or what was it? Declan Rice said he was kind of grown in a lab or something against. So I think Ethan Nwaneri, kind of the spotlight's not on him and it's on his mate who they've come up through the ranks together. So it'll be interesting to see with the absence of Saka, will he stay on the right? I think Arteta will give him another game potentially on the right wing against Brighton. Potentially, I don't know.
Yeah, don't know. Could do. I think having MLS there, you're right. I think it eases the burden a bit. Then it's not all the focus is on him. But then also hopefully it drives him to do well. So you're right, MLS is growing in front of our eyes. We'll come to the question for Brighton. Is he now the first choice left back? Given Calafiori's performance and stuff. Is MLS our first choice left back at the moment? He's certainly made a case for it. But back to Nwaneri, I think I gave him 7.5. Just his first Premiership start. It doesn't feel like it, but that's his first Premiership start. I think he had some excellent touches. You're right, he got involved. I really enjoyed his performance. It was exciting to see, so I really liked it. Right, and then Jesus, I gave a 7.5. He finally got into the game when he got the goal, and then he was very good thereafter. He was just all over the front line, causing trouble, playing left, right, in the middle, and I like that from the front. Well, at least Martinelli and Jesus were switching a lot. So yeah, and his shot led to the second goal. So his shot was then rebounded to Merino. So once he scored the goal, I think he played really well.
Yeah, so I gave Gabriel Jesus an 8, just because of his constant pressing. He was and his goal, great strikers, a great striker's finish, wasn't it? Just being there, you have to be there essentially. Yeah. One thing that I would have given him an 8.5 actually, but one thing that I marked him down for was a few times he was on the left and he was almost getting in Martinelli's way, and I just needed him to score and get 2 shots from a bet. So
right, okay. So from a purely selfish perspective, get in the box, you get
get in the box. And then Martinelli as well was one of the players where I think I could have given an 8.5 to, but I gave him an 8. Just they worked really well in tandem together yesterday. Yeah. I feel like they were the 2 best players in the park alongside Partey. Those were my favourite 3 players to watch.
3 players, I gave Martinelli a 7. Again, a bit like Jesus. Once he scored the goal, he really got into the game. He was an outlet first half. He's a bit like the current version of Martinelli, where he's sort of a bit blind alleys, not really creating much. But second half, definitely more of a threat. I like that performance and an outlet. So a couple of long passes, a couple of long throws from Raya. It basically meant that the Brentford defenders had to stay deeper, stay back, because he was always going to outpace them. So I gave him 7. So all in all, good. And as for Rice, MLS, Jorginho, Trossard, and Zinchenko, they came on, they helped close the game, but didn't really do anything, so it's not really worth rating. So in terms of your player of the match, Jesus, is that correct?
Well, I'm going to give it to Thomas Partey.
What's yours? Oh, okay, yeah. What's your player of the match?
I'm going to give it to Thomas Partey. I think I mentioned this at the start of the pod. I think he was player of the match, just because there's been so many questions asked of him, performance related and fitness related, that I think he's doing well this season, and so I'd give it to him.
Yeah, I was the same. I think he controlled that midfield. He was dominant. Yeah, I really liked his performance. So he was my player of the match. I was surprised Jesus got player of the match on TV, but maybe they're a bit more binary in terms of goal and assist sort of thing.
I was looking at that, and the reason why is because when you look at kind of player of the match, they also just look at in terms of the overall, the ratings that you give. And on FOTMOB, I know we used to love a FOTMOB rating on here. It was interesting because Jesus got 8.1 and Partey got 7.8.
And Martinelli got 8.6.
8.6, yeah. And the reason why is because when you click on it, it'll show you more. And it was like Martinelli won, most of his duels in comparison to other players. He dribbled past more players than anyone else. He also had 4 defensive actions and 4 recoveries as well. So,
and he won more tackles than Saliba and Gabriel combined.
Exactly.
With 1.
Exactly. So he did well.
Yeah, okay. So and right, in terms of your plonker of the match, I really need to find another name for that, but I can't. So what's your plonker of the match?
So my plonker of the match was actually Mikel Arteta for being blind as a bat.
This is an interesting one.
So he was blind as a bat at the end of the game. So I think it was Nicolas Jover at the end of the match, basically, bear with me on this one, right? So at the end of the match, Nicholas Jover goes over to the away end and he kind of points out someone in the crowd. And I think it's his or Arteta's family that are in the crowd. And Arteta's like, who are you waving at? And then you can kind of see a conversation between them. There's a clip on X of this, by the way, that I can send you. And then Nicholas Jover says to Arteta, points over to someone like, that's my family or whatever. And Arteta looks and he couldn't see him, so he walks away again. And Nicholas is like, no, they're in my family. And Arteta keeps looking, and then he just waves randomly.
Just pretends waves. Oh, yeah.
Do you not have contact lenses in, or if you're blind, do you not wear glasses or wear contact lenses? Because the fact, he was properly pointing out, like, above that flag to the left, 3 seats along, 2 rows back, that's my family. And Arteta just kind of waves. So a bit of a jokey plonker of the match. But that was Arteta just for being blind as a bat and could not see poor Nicholas Jover's family, come all the way from
Look, I was making you over to get a photo out. Look, there they are. That's where they look.
Nicholas Jover is actually German-born but French. So I don't know where his family have come from, maybe Germany or France, and poor Arteta couldn't see them. So
couldn't see them. Oh well, there we go. Well, for me, my plonker were actually the Brentford fans. So Jesus, they were chanting "cheat," and same old Arsenal always cheating with Jesus after he went down, even though it was an accident. They got smacked in the chops and got a fat lip, and it drew blood. And they were chanting. I know fans are like territorial and they'll just make shit up and it's fine, but just like just shut up. Either that or Raya for giving us that heart attack moment, because 2-0 down. I would have struggled to see us coming back from that.
I just think he was bored and he wanted, the fans to perk up a wee bit. What a save, by the way, to recover. Great. And he went head first into the camera in the goal as well.
So. Oh, yeah. I saw that. It was funny, when you see the replay and the camera just toppling over and just seeing the grass. Yeah,
brilliant.
So, look, tricky opponents that we made an easy, comfortable win out of in the end. So let's hope we can do the same again. So as we come to part 2, we're going to look at Brighton. So again, another tricky away day. Moz, what are you looking forward to and not looking forward to about the game?
So I'm looking forward to the game just being in a mere few days away. So I'm looking forward to just this run, January, just want to keep playing games. I'm looking forward to that and looking forward to avenging the draw against Brighton at the Emirates right at the start of the season when we shouldn't have really drawn that game. Not looking forward to, I think Danny Welbeck might be back. I think he's doubtful.
No, he is out.
Confirmed? Like, do you have...
Yes, I've been on the Sussex Express website, visiting Sussex World, and that prick strike it as... Hurzeler was unable to provide a timeline for his return. That's the thing. I can't say when he will be back, said the German. So it could be next week. It could be really quick, but it could also take 2, 3, 4 weeks. And this was... When was this? This was 2nd of January. So it's unlikely he's playing.
Okay, so that was just today.
Unless he's fooling us. Yeah.
Okay. Well... That's what I'm not looking forward of. But if he's not playing, then I mean, look, it's Brighton. They're not the best team in the league, and they're not the team that they used to be. I'm just looking forward to honestly just getting a run of games in and getting a run of results. And let's not forget, when we play Brighton, we play before Liverpool in the league.
Yeah, but they play Man United.
And they play Man United, so
Jesus
I'm hoping
Christ.
for a Ruben Amorim, 2025.
What the manager who's masterclass against Newcastle, who are the most physical team in the Premiership, to play a Danish man with a pacemaker and some fat Brazilian. That's your tactical masterclass against Newcastle.
Yeah, what's really frustrating is that we could, in another world, we could hope that Man U take points off Liverpool, but they won't.
The best we can hope for is injuries. Just someone Euro slips, takes Salah out, and does his ACL, and there we go. We're wishing him all the best, but not this season. What I'm looking forward to, I think, like you, even though we go, players, they play too much. I love this game every 3-4 days. I love it. So I'm I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Trossard sticking two fingers up again to the Brighton fans after he scores his third goal of the day. What I'm not looking forward to is just anything that Fabian Hurzeler says or does. He's a dick. He's disingenuous. He's condescending. He's an idiot. He's an arse. Like, what he said after the Rice red, and and then what he said about the Pedro elbow, which how that wasn't considered, violent conduct and a red card. In my opinion, that's just nuts. Yeah, I just, he's young, so he's learning, but I don't give a shit that he's just I don't like him at all. So I don't want to have to hear anything from him. So if we can shut them up and actually let's do it in the most horrible, unfair way, so his face is just it just explodes. So it'll be funny. So we've talked about it in terms of the lineup. Will Havertz be back? Do we play Merino? Partey will be at right back. Waneri or Trossard? But for me, would you start MLS or Calafiori?
I would start Calafiori again. I think because Ethan Waneri will probably play on the right wing as well. I think having two of them on, I think I would start with Calafiori, and I think I would then be inclined to start MLS against Newcastle at home. I think that game's more suited to him. And then obviously we have Man United in the FA Cup, and then it would just be a toss-up between either of them to start. So for me, it'd be Calafiori. For me, if Havertz is fit again, I would start him over Merino. However, I would like to see Merino, I mentioned earlier, have a run of games in the team. I just think we need that bite from Havertz against Brighton, especially against their midfield. And I don't know. I think I would, if Waneri doesn't play, I would like to see a lineup of essentially Jesus on the right, and then potentially Havertz up top and Martinelli on the left. I'd love to see how that works, and I think Arteta has alluded to that he will try different things in Saka's absence. So, and then again, Thomas Partey at right back, I'm fine with that. I think he's played well this season, so I don't have any concerns. And also, I think if you're Trossard, you're itching to start against your old team who you want to get one over on.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe it's a Trossard game. He spoke about a feeling for the Brentford game for Waneri. So I don't know if he's saying that after the fact, so it's easy to say, or if it's a genuine thing that managers do, or I've got a feeling for this player. Trossard could be one of those, away to Brighton, got a feeling for it. I don't think he gets affected by a crowd. I think it drives him a bit like yesterday, actually. As soon as the Brentford crowd got onto Jesus' back, he actually got better. So maybe Tross is one of those ones that will just improve from it. I got a feeling for Trossard rather than Waneri, and I think MLS over Calafiori. That's it. Well, I don't care either way. Arteta will put the fittest team out there that he can, and he will put the team that he thinks will win. So, I'll have what I think, but I'm not going to stress it either way. In terms of Brighton, you're right. We owe them from the 1-1 with the Emirates. You're right. Their form is not that great. They're another middling team. They're 10th in the league. They've they've scored 29, let in 28, so very equal. And actually they've actually not won since November 23rd. So they've had lots of draws. I think they've drawn 4 of their last 5. So they've not won since Bournemouth away. They beat Man City away at home same time, but since then they've drawn at home against Southampton, lost 3-1 to Fulham, drew against Leicester, lost to Palace, drew against West Ham, drew against Brentford, and then drew against Aston Villa. Decent result, I guess, but over Christmas shit happens. So we should be, again, like Brentford, we should be going away and beating this team. They have threats. They have some good players, like João Pedro, like Matoma, so they've got some players, but what are you expecting? Are you expecting we should be turning this team over, or are you still a bit fearful given their current position that they're not the Brighton of old?
I'm not fearful, but I don't think we'll turn them over. I think it'll be like a 1-0. Brighton don't score and don't concede that many goals. I think they have a goal difference of 1. So I'm not overly concerned, but I don't think it'll be easy for us. I hope I'm proven wrong, and I hope we win 17-0 just to get the goal difference up. But for me, the more important games for us are coming up, and also I'm looking forward to winning, and then
Yeah.
hate watching Liverpool on the Sunday and hoping that they drop points against United. I mean, let's not forget. I know we're talking about Liverpool a lot here, but Liverpool have drawn a couple of games in the last 5. So they're not infallible like everyone thinks. We just didn't capitalise.
No.
We would have gained 4 points on Liverpool if we had won against Everton and Fulham, and they drew against Newcastle and Fulham. So it just shows you. But yeah, we just need to keep winning, keep staying. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think the league's done. I think Liverpool will win the league this season. However, I want us to make it difficult for them, because if they do slip up, we will be there. To hopefully take top spot.
No, exactly. We just need to keep doing our jobs, and what will be will be. Can't change it. You're right. Yeah. Brighton's home form, they played 9. Wales. This is the team that Wales should never ever support, because he hates a tie. They've drawn 9 of their 19 games. He'd be tearing his hair out of this team. So at home they've drawn 5. Won 3, lost 1. Scored 13 against 4. So yeah, you're right. They're not. It's not a high scoring team. So obviously they don't score a lot, but they don't let in a lot. So we just got to do our job. They've got some injuries. Like they've got a number of injuries. It says some are doubts, some are definitely out. So let's hope we can take advantage of that. Again, I think we're always susceptible for a goal, even though we're really good at controlling and we're really good defensively. We just seem to be susceptible to the variance. And I'm going for another. You're saying 1-0. I'm going for another Brentford-esque type victory, 2-1, 3-1. I'm hoping maybe nearer on the 2-1. The reason why I don't say 2-1, because it's just I don't want to set myself up for fucking hell, a nervy last 20 minutes. That's why. So that's why I say 3-1, and therefore I'm saying to myself that then I can relax. So yeah, 2-1, 3-1, and actually Brentford I predicted correctly. I said 3-1, so that's my 3rd correct prediction of the season. I should be putting money on this.
You should, yeah, you should.
Okay. All right, so that's done and dusted. That's Brentford dealt with, and that's Brighton hopefully seen off. We'll find out come 7:30 on Saturday evening. So there we go. And as for Man United, Liverpool, I mean, what's your feeling on this? I mean, obviously we want Man United to win, but if Liverpool go 3-0 up, is it just a case of let's just laugh at Man United as much as possible?
Yeah, either way, we're going to laugh at Liverpool or Man United, aren't we? Yeah. So it'll be a good Sunday. It'll be a good weekend if we manage to win against Brighton. I think Liverpool have tough games coming up, though. They play against Forest as well after Man United. Their next game in the league is Nottingham Forest, so you never know with that. And Forest are at home, so you never know. If Liverpool win those 2 games, I think we need to all hold our hands up and say they are a very good team. They've only lost one all season. But I don't know. Ask me that again the next time I'm on. But for now, the hate watching commences right now. It's currently 3:00 on a Thursday afternoon, and Rangers are about to get pumped by Celtic. And it's funny, they've got a banner up. I'm watching the game on the other side here. It says, they've got a massive tifo up, and they'll say, "You'll know us by our noise." And they could go 17 points clear Celtic if they win against Rangers now. So that's what I'm looking forward to just now. So
very good.
Come on the hoops, as we say.
Very good. All right. Well, I'll leave you to it. So look, you can follow us on Threads and Blue Sky at The Grove AFC. Our next show will be post Brighton, pre Newcastle FC in the Milk Cup next Tuesday. So just leaves me to say thank you, Moz. Thank you for coming back, and hopefully it's not so long before the next one.
Tell you what, if you're recording after the Liverpool game on Sunday, then if Liverpool lose, I'll be back. I'll be back on to change all my views. I'll be like, no, we are going to win the league. Everything I said was a joke. I was just doing it so I'd get a reaction out of you guys.
We're going to win the league. It's done and dusted. Salah posted his Christmas picture, so apparently we're just going to get a delay on the results from that. So look, anyway, thank you, Moz. Love it as always. So once again, it just leaves me to say Happy New Year to you all. Let's hope it's a good one for you and for Arsenal, and that it's full of health. Well, let's hope our players stay healthy, happiness and laughter. It's football after all, and we're here to enjoy it and what may come. So win or lose, let's just enjoy each other's company. So thank you very much, and until the next time, come on you Gunners.